Thanks so much for tuning into this very special conversation with a very special voice. Mr. Vallabh Bhansali, founder and chairman of Enam Holdings, joins us as the market gives a thumbs up to the election verdict that came in over the weekend. Mr. Bhansali, thank you so much for taking the time out. What do you make of this, sir? Is this something that will give a boost to the confidence of investors, because there is a belief that the political continuity will ensue come 2024?
I think that's only an additional factor. The market has been having such a momentum. And fortunately, on the horizon also, you see more silver linings than dark clouds. So the market is already on a high. This will add to that high rather than create a new momentum for long term. But I think the good news in this is that what is the citizen thinking? For a long time, the national parties have been trying to persuade voters to look at national policies, and this government seems to have now succeeded more than ever before in raising aspirations. I think this is not understood well enough always. I remember way back in '94, Mr. Narayan Murthy, architect of what reforms should mean for private sector, he said in a speech that, India needs to raise its aspirations. I don't think anyone understood in the country. So people went back. Political parties tried to play identity politics, which was remaining the same rather than raise aspirations. So therefore, elections of this kind, that in 4 states where national parties win, there seems to be a vote that, we want to move away from identity towards aspiration. And therefore, the success of the infrastructure, success in sports, identification with the common man, all of that are helping probably the common man, the poor man, the left out man, to think more nationally, more center stage. And I've been, in my own way, a very keen observer of the social transformation. I see that being asserted here because particularly MP, Chhattisgarh, more than Rajasthan, where flip-flop has been the tradition. In these 2 states, which has tribals and which has, more diversified base, this kind of result definitely indicates something that what Mr. Modi has been trying to say, that, there's only poverty, there's only one class poverty, and there is only one hope growth. And therefore, in my judgment, I feel very enthused about that as a long-term trend.
Wow, interesting points. Even Telangana, the tribal belt had some fairly significant gains for Mr. Modi's campaigns as well. Vallabh, just a quick question. Do you reckon there will be a degree of investors, long-term investors, pension funds, etc., who would probably think of this in the same fashion that you are, and will probably look at the potential that the country brings over a period of 10, 15, 20 years, and not that they are not there already, but they might make a larger allocation to what is arguably a strong economy currently?
Neeraj, a lot of them are not here, or they are not here in a very insignificant manner. Therefore, I think what the bigger news for them is this political stability helps, but some of them are long-term players and they look at those long-term trends more keenly, are what is happening on the interest rate, how India managed this whole inflation thing. And now that, Powell has changed his commentary, what impact it will have. Inclusion of, Indian sovereign bonds in global indices. We have entry in one, but we need multiple, and all of them seem to be on card. And what has been happening on infrastructure, which was a key initial seal for India, that, China had built that. Now we are building that great time. We are becoming just the beginning of what is called a product nation. So we're still techno coolies in a large sense, but with our success on Tejas, on some defense equipment, some 5G, 4G, etc., I think this value-adding nation, value-adding economy is just beginning to take shape. And there are people, who are working very hard that how do we move from $15-20 trillion economy, which we will, probably achieve partly on the basis of just demographic, our demographic growth or demographic advantage. It's not yet a dividend situation, but can soon become. I think those trends look fantastic. That interest rates here are poised to go down, and that means a big, big thing for the country and the markets.
Got it. Sir, I have one final question. I know you're short of time, but one final question. Because you think such long term, you think decades, whereas people think of days and weeks when it comes to investing. Just trying to understand, does this result and all that's happened in the last 12 to 18 to 24 months, which you alluded to, make you think very constructively of the next 5-10 years? And if so, how do you think about it when you're bringing the investing lens into the picture, sir?
See, investing has to be long term, which means, we know from our own life, to get a degree, to get, qualified for anything job, to get mature on any job, it takes time. And in a complex country, fighting so many centuries of, subjugation, it takes time. But a very concerted effort. Today is not the time to talk about, what does nation building mean?
Yeah.
And which is being attempted by Modi ji, which is now, playing out. And therefore, when we look at that, there's no question of looking at anything less than 5-10 years. So I think all that looks very good. One hopes that we move away from this backwardness, the pride in being a backward. That breaks. And what you're seeing on the sports field, I met an archer who had no arms. She's, of course, a Paralympic champion. But what aspirations this creates in, large sections of society. And when they feel that, okay, we are provided for food, we are provided for health to some extent, provided for pension if we care, I think all these things will, in a cultured country like India, when those aspirations rise, not only demand will rise, but creativity will rise, and therefore our ability to add value and add meaning to the whole world will rise. So we feel very bullish.
Great. On that note, we'll let you go. Thanks so much, Mr. Bhansali, for taking the time out today.
Pleasure. Thank you.
And viewers, thanks for tuning in.